Shout out to our sponsors at IconBet. Open source, decentralized gaming, no deposits, play straight from your wallet. IconBet, made by the players, for the players. Eye on Icon is proudly supported by Icon Nation and the Icon community. Hey everyone, welcome back to Eye on Icon, the episode where we go around the ecosystem and interview our builders, our content creators, our marketers. Oh my god, that's what this episode's about. We have Max Lawrence from Arcade Node joining us today. And if you haven't seen the tweets and the partnerships and things that have been announced from the foundation, well, that's why Max is here, because I know a quick conversation before the launch party when we were arranging, you gave me all these points you wanted to touch on, and I was like, holy crap, need to have you on the show. We need to talk about this. So, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today, Max?
I'm doing great, Fez. How are you? Yeah, thank you. I'm excited about everything that we're doing and to introduce us to the Icon community and all that we got going on.
Yeah, excited to hear about it. And look, well, why don't we start there? How did you get introduced to Icon or crypto in general? Are you a bit of a crypto head, or is Icon your
Yeah,
first
I
foray?
would I would call myself a crypto head from back in the day. I went to New York University originally, and I had a friend who was involved with Consensus, which is basically the incubator accelerator program
Yeah,
for Ethereum.
yeah,
And she invited me to one of these early sessions, and it was even before ETH had launched. And I remember just thinking, what the hell is a blockchain? Who
yeah.
are all these people? Why do they know so much that I don't? And and eventually I just kind of fell into that world. It's been a really exciting time, and I've been involved with crypto for as an investor for a couple years since around 2015, I think. Um, and then I found the theory, or I found the Icon project just on the internet. I was on Reddit, and I discovered the project, and I really liked that it was a focused South Korean community-based project with a lot of support and partnerships within the South Korean government. And then also, obviously, their vision of hyperconnecting the world was really interesting to me. So that's kind of how I fell into the project.
Cool. Okay, so you've been in it for a while. That's yeah, close post ICO.
Yeah, I invested in Icon after the ICO, just as it was starting to get some trending on Reddit. And then I just held through. It's been years, and I think the true believers have held on,
Yeah.
and are excited to see all that what's about to happen with this project, because obviously the developer's been working so hard to put together a really technically sound project. And now I think I and myself and everybody else in the community is really excited to see how we can scale it and grow it.
Love it. Okay, so Arcade Node then. How's that come about? What is that? How did it happen?
That was purely just me being on the Icon subreddit and hearing, we need more marketing, we need more innovative ideas for digital whatever. And I thought, hey, I have some experience in this area. If people really need this to happen, I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring. And I just started posting some ideas on the subreddit. Luckily, we have a really, it's not the largest subreddit forum or community, but I feel like we have really strong moderation, really strong active community members with who are really, make the core of this project. And so with their support and input and advice, they gave me the courage basically to say, hey, maybe I'll start a P rep. I never thought that I would end up doing this, but here we are.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so and what is I guess so you've started Arcade Node, and what are they about?
Yeah, most definitely. I think maybe a little context on my background might be helpful as well. As I went
Sure.
to NYU for entrepreneurship, and I've worked in venture capital. I've worked in music. I've worked in kind of digital media. I wrote a thesis on blockchain and emerging technologies back in undergrad. And so I have some experience in brand building and marketing and this kind of area. So that's why felt that I was prepared to come in and contribute, in the sense that I think we can do a really good job with attracting top flight talent to the ecosystem, especially because I'm currently going to school in New York. I'm going to grad school at Columbia, so I have some resources there, and then be putting forward some digital marketing activations and campaigns to get like so platforms like TikTok and Twitter and Instagram, potentially some esports sponsorships and partnerships. These are kind of the main goals of what Arcade Node, and it's really from just listening to the community and hearing about what they want, and also then just figuring out what's practical and seeing what will get the best results.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you're going after various not niches, but different areas from social media perspective. You're planning to tackle a bit of the universities as well, um, which is
Yeah,
cool.
I think the philosophy is basically we want to be scientific and methodological about it. We want to spread brand awareness in, you know, internet savvy 18 to 30-year-olds that are going to have disposable income, are interested in cryptocurrency as an alternative potentially to centralized systems like banks, and places, people that might be interested in DeFi, people who might be interested in NFTs. And so colleges, especially New York City top flight colleges, are going to have a large customer pool, or have a large pool of those people. And so that was kind of the idea of marketing specifically to students and starting this brand ambassador program. And then also, if you look at where the greatest, like if you look at a Venn diagram of, crypto blockchain enthusiast and then internet enthusiast, the overlap is probably going to be somewhere like a digital game, so like esports. So you could potentially, and you not only that, you could pull from the internet esports enthusiasts and try to get them to be more blockchain focused,
Mm,
especially as infrastructure like NFT gaming starts to become more popular. And we've just moved way beyond Bitcoin now. There's
mm.
so many applications for blockchain that are actually relevant to people of this demographic. And so that's was our thought process of why we're going to focus and target on them in our marketing initiatives.
Cool. Okay, so now I've heard in our previous conversations you mentioned the University Alliance, Icon University Alliance. Can you
Yeah,
talk us through what that is and plans around that? I'm very interested.
most definitely. So yeah, it's basically another word for a brand ambassador and student internship program. Our goal is to create brand ambassadors or representatives at different colleges and give them basically internship credit and academic credit, introduce them to the blockchain ecosystem, and potentially give them cryptocurrency rewards. And what they'll do is help us scale out marketing initiatives and in-person activation initiatives at their respective colleges. So, say one of our primary goals for the Icon ecosystem is to get more developers, to get more, computer science majors to build on Icon, right?
Mm,
Well, we want to organize hackathons and organize different groups and blockchain clubs, and it's very expensive to do that if you come in from a traditional corporate mindset where, hey, we're going to pay for all this and we're going to organize all this. And instead, if we can tap into the already established infrastructure of these student clubs and of the students themselves, and
yeah,
that's a way better way of doing it. We have to be mindful about the fact, because it's community driven, we have to not spend that much money, right? Or we have to be thoughtful about the money that we do spend. So we thought this is a way that was going to be a more cost effective but also more organic way for students to communicate, hey, this is something I love, I'm really interested in, it's doing great things for me. I have ideas about how we can do startups together. So
yeah.
let's tap into this user base, or community pool that is at the universities.
Cool. And has this kicked off? Has this
So the first thing, it's definitely a challenge because you're wading through university bureaucracy, and which can be a lot. But the first thing that we are planning is a BTP panel, basically a educational panel in early December with Scott, or you know him as Benny Options, I think, some of you. And we want to do basically sponsored by the Blockchain Club. So that's been established. We partnered
oh,
with NYU, Fordham, and Columbia Blockchain Clubs. They're gonna co-host the event. It's gonna get, I think, around, they have a collective group amount of like 1,000 students that are
yeah.
already interested on the email list and stuff. And then obviously we'll promote it with the foundation and open it up to others as well. but that's going to be our jumping off point to launch the brand ambassador program. So we're going to give away a bunch of cool prizes. You know, we're going to do Gangsta Bet and
Oh, yeah.
NFTs and Nebula and look all this cool stuff you can do on the
Yeah.
platform. And
Yeah.
by the way, if you want to learn about this ecosystem and you want to get some academic credit and get paid, then come work with us at the University Alliance.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. So, and it's going to be BTP focused. That's
Yeah, most definitely. And I think just to that point, you know, we've talked a lot about icons, brand identity, and how can we market this. I think BTP and interoperability is such a powerful tool, and it should be the focus for how we promote icon because
yeah.
you know it's like an elevator pitch. It's like, yeah, all these blockchains, public and private, need to be connected. How are you going to do that? That's what we do. And so yeah, definitely the panel is going to be about BTP and not just the technical side of it. Obviously, that's very important, but also the economic implications of it. Like what industries are going to be disrupted because of it? What jobs are going to be created because of it? These are things that students care about.
Cool. Yeah, no, looking forward to that. I'm keen to hear when it happens, if there's reservations and stuff, to hear some numbers for what you're expecting, things like that. I know on
Yeah,
the side I'd
definitely.
heard about this. I was keen to get more, so that was a great breakdown of it.
Yeah, I don't have a precise date yet, but it's definitely looking like the first or second week of December.
Cool,
So
cool.
so keep your eyes out for that. We'll
A-
post some
a-
tweets.
and it's on campus, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is because of COVID,
Yeah,
we wanted to do it November 16th, but because of COVID, it's difficult to organize on campus activation. So I tried Columbia. They said no, Fordham couldn't do it. So we're hoping that NYU will be able to, but if
yeah.
not, we're going to have to do a digital only. But you know, we'll
Okay.
make it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the way it is at the moment. Digital everything.
Yeah.
So I think you mentioned it. So fandom, I say it as fandom, but uh, we've seen a few announcements from the foundation. It seems like you're a little more aware of what they do and how they work. Could you give us a bit of a breakdown about them and how you are going to Arcade Node's going to work with them?
Yes, I can. You know, I'm always sensitive about saying things that I shouldn't because, you know, I just feel lucky that I'm able to be working with the foundation and that they, you know, that they put their trust in me to collaborate. But what I
Max,
can say,
Max,
yeah,
let me be very clear. This is the one show you can drop exclusives left, right, and center, and the foundation
let's
will
get it.
fully support it. But
All
don't
right.
tell them
Well,
I
then,
said that.
yeah, yeah. If anything, I'll tell him Fez got me to run my mouth about it.
That's
But
right. That's right. It's
yeah,
cool.
no, I mean, dude, the foundation is awesome, and they've worked. This is what I know. I know that they have put countless hours into developing an incredibly technical blockchain protocol and ecosystem, and now they're starting to ramp up marketing. And it wasn't a priority before, and I think they would acknowledge that. And now it is much more of a priority. And in response to that, they hired two people, Elise and Jen, who are both excellent. Jen is more of a graphic designer, from my understanding. She went to art school. She does much of the excellent graphics that you've seen. I think the new website is really phenomenally done. And Elise is, I believe she was a Yale graduate, and she's leading up more of the marketing initiatives from a business standpoint and a negotiation standpoint. So they are the 2 point people that I know of in the marketing department, and they are working really hard to you know create a professional grade marketing team. And I think they're hiring more, and I'm working with them to bring some of the ideas that I have, and kind of be an ambassador, I think, from the community as well,
Mm.
to say, hey, this is what people really want. This we're going to crowdsource all these great ideas, and then our job will basically be to go out and say, is this can this be done? You know, from a business and feasibility standpoint. So yeah, I'm just stoked to be able to work with them, and I think that Elise has been great, and we got a lot of exciting stuff coming soon, but I can't blab too much, you know. The
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're not going to give me anything about the Fundam relationship that you got?
Oh, the Fandium? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I can tell you about that. So what is Fandium? First of all, I think
yeah.
that's something that the community would want to know. It's a private company that basically does auctions or sweepstakes for charity, where they collaborate primarily with, at the moment, music industry artists. And the foundation, I believe, did an equity stake investment in them with the idea that they would be able to partner to incorporate blockchain icon blockchain technology into their sweepstakes.
Yeah.
So an example of another company that does something similar would be Omaze. I don't know if you've heard of them, but say that we have, what's your favorite band?
My favorite what, sorry?
Your favorite band.
Oh, Green Day?
Yeah, there you go. So say Billy Joel is like, "Hey Fez, I will give you a guitar lesson, right?
Yeah.
And we can write a song together, right?" And so all these people across the world are gonna pay $25. Hey, I want a guitar lesson with Billy Joel, but Fez wins. And you fly out or you do a digital session. You take a guitar lesson with him. You're stoked, and you record a song. Well, what we could do is that's your prize, right? So
Yeah.
you are basically selected out of all of them. 75% of that income goes to charity, and 25% goes to the artist.
Yeah.
Um, and basically, you uh, are able to have that experience with Billy Joel, and also maybe we'll make an NFT of your song, and we'll give you ownership rights to it. So that's Fandium in a nutshell of what they do. That could scale to any type of experience. It could be, a musician, could be an athlete, an esports person, what have you. Our collaboration is that we want to do. I can't give too much away here, but we want to do something in the realm of the New York University area, a
Yeah.
sweepstakes with a real focus on the NFT side of things. So we
Yeah.
really want to push this NFT technology, get people to download bridge wallets, get people to interact with the icon ecosystem, and just continue to grow our reputation, our identity in the community in New York City. And so that's what we're working on currently. And I worked in music, so there's some synchronicity there. So
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be cool. I'm excited, but it'll take a while. Don't expect an announcement until maybe like January.
Okay, cool. 1st of January, I shall put in a call with you and
Yeah,
get
you
you
tweet
live on
me.
the show.
Exactly. Put
uh,
me on blast.
no, look, I think there's a lot there. So, I like some of the stuff you're saying. We're not just getting a celebrity shill. We're going down the path of educating the people who are studying in their fields to go, you can actually build in this area. Icon is one of them. Focus on BTP. Well, then all of a sudden they can build on any of the BTP chains and use Icon to, connect everything up. And Icon's always in the picture there. And on the flip side, I liked how you said bridge and things like that. So even in all your partnerships, you're trying to utilize the tools that have been built to get the people out of crypto into crypto. So even if we got the students and things like that using Bridge and thinking, well, I can throw my money and move it in and out from this, and it makes sense and it's simple to use, and I'm earning my 20% interest. Yeah, it's great. I like it. I like what I'm hearing, and that's
Most
probably
definitely.
what I wanted to get out from you,
Well,
and
you
get it
got
out
it
to the
out of me. So
community.
yeah, yeah, most
And
definitely. And also the flip side too, like it gets the artist thinking, hey, we can use NFTs.
yeah,
We can incorporate it into interesting ways from crowdfunding an album, for example. And if
yeah.
we establish this relationship with an artist or a record label, then they'll come to Icon for the next time or to craft. So that's what we're trying to do. Exactly right. We're trying to just create real use cases that are genuinely fun and exciting to everybody involved.
Yeah, cool.
Uh,
So, yeah, sorry.
yeah, sorry, go ahead. No, no, no. I was thinking like, how cool would it be? Just now, the thought popped in my mind. If we did a hackathon with BTP that you could build on various chains, and then we took the winners, and those or the best projects could then be ported over to like TJ's CPS proposal, and then you could sponsor the projects that were made at the hackathon. I just think there's such a interesting like opportunity here with these universities of uh, let's reach out to them, let's get people to build stuff and have good times, and then immediately follow up and nurture their projects and give them funding to be able to build more things on the icon ecosystem.
I think it's brilliant. Like, honestly, so because we've got the IISS, the new network proposal that will go to vote soon, and that will change the way things work. So, PREP rewards slashed. Um, Still, people like us who vote will get rewarded, and there's a fair bit dedicated to that. But that aside, a lot will go to CPS. And what you're saying here, I think for me, Max, I would like to see things happen like that quickly. And I think your idea is brilliant. We have a hackathon, get some ideas, and these ideas, if they're quality and great, they can actually go straight to CPS and put it up as a proposal going, we want this much. And what a great success story that would be in the university. Can you imagine if three
Yeah,
people create brilliant things? The next
totally.
hackathon you hold, people will just rush to it and go, this could be a gold mine. Let's really put a team together and try and work through it. The only downside I see is everyone starts dropping out of uni to pursue their
Well,
dreams.
that's okay. As long as they're building awesome stuff on Icon, then I'm all right with that. They don't need to
Bingo,
pay for
bingo.
college or anything. Yeah, I
So
totally agree.
yeah, go.
I
No,
just saying
no.
I agree.
Cool, cool. So, and you mentioned now this BTP, the session that you're having planned in December. This is not going to be a. Is it going to be a hackathon or is it a more of a panel?
So the first one is just a panel. It's just to kind of
Okay.
get our feet wet and execute something that we know, isn't too complicated. But I would love to do a hackathon as soon as possible. I think I will need some more community support, development support, but I think we can make it happen for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Max? We want to make it happen, and especially in these areas, and because from my short stint in Icon. No, I've been around. I just haven't been taking this kind of lead that I have. But I know Icon DAO and stuff. They've been holding hackathons in Vietnam and various other areas. So it'll be great to get one going in New York as well. So
Totally.
definitely love to see more plans, and I reckon the community will rally behind it and start helping out. And that's what CPS is also there for, to make this happen. So yeah, let's do it. Um,
I think CPS is such a powerful tool, and it's a great idea from the organization, and I think it's up to us to make sure we take full advantage of it from a community perspective and from a PREP's perspective as well.
agree.
Fez, could you teach me some stuff? I just because I'm a
Oh
new
god.
PREP and I'm learning about the governance and all this stuff. Like, can you explain the IISS changes
Right.
that are happening and kind of how things are going, or if not, you can don't worry about it. We'll get another
Oh look,
egghead in here to help.
I mean, honestly, so while I work with Rhizo, Brian does all of that, but I have been trying to get my head across the new change. Now, this is something that's been in the works for a long time. So the changes have been proposed over a year ago, and it's essentially changing the way inflation works. And this is where I don't have the old figures, but at the moment, under the new proposed plan, in the total inflation based on our supply will be close to 4%. And off that 4%, we've got rewards that traditionally would basically go to PREPs and voters, now getting divided to voters, PREPs, CPS, and then there's well, there's no allocation yet, but relayers, that's needed for BTP component. And
Mm,
so not only is inflation cut, but the rewards going to the PREPs has dropped and close. So we're talking around 300,000 based on the current inflation numbers. 300,000 ICX a month, or
okay,
close to that, should route to CPS. Now, at current market price, that's what. Six
six
hundred
hundred
thousand
thousand. Yeah,
dollars. And so that will flow. And TJ's made some changes that's not ISS related in terms of CPS, where there'll be a stable coin fund. So traditionally, at the moment, CPS has been holding ICX. So projects have found it hard. They go in saying, "Yep, we want 40,000," and then ICX moons, and people reject it because you're
right,
asking too much money. So the stable point coin portion will help projects plan their cost. So apart from that, those changes, the actual inflation and the way it's being used is going through a huge change, and it's really good for the network because once this happens, we've got the narrative, and I like to push this narrative is before this, ICX would go deflationary if we had a certain amount of transactions on the network. If there was enough transactions happening on the network to pay the fees for producing the blocks, right?
mm,
Um, Post this upgrade, we will have ICX go deflationary like that. we will have it if CPS hits. Now this figure's changed, but let me use if CPS fund hits 1 million, anything above that will just get burnt.
Right.
Um, while it won't go deflationary there, but the burning is happening. A large percent will get burnt there. And the last thing is BTP. So, we've heard the auctioning system. So, all the people who use, they need to buy ICX to purchase those cheaper tokens. So, like a BNB and things like that. And when that's used, that ICX goes straight to CPS. If CPS is full, it gets burnt. So you see, there's a few mechanics that come into play here, that's very different from the original design. So
Totally.
yeah, so really excited, and fundamentally the PREP role changes. You go from node. It's more zoned in as node operators. You operate a
Right.
node to keep the network secured. You go to CPS for stuff like you've been talking about. You want to run hackathons. You want to do. That's what CPS
Totally.
is for. And I love how you've added
No,
that extra layer about get the hackathons going, find good projects, direct them straight to CPS, and go build your dream. I love it.
exactly. Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I mean, I think it's the perfect use of resources. We want to get stuff being built, and now we have a system in order to do that, and it also takes the pressure. There's just a weird dynamic I found with the community and the P reps, because it's like, how do you know what they're doing? How do we stop their? How do we stop like, not an aristocracy, but how do we stop voting and resources being piled exclusively to them? And instead, let's give the little guys a chance. Let's give the outside teams that might not know much about crypto yet, but are really, have a great idea. Now we have a way for them to break into the system. So it's great. I'm
Exactly,
excited.
exactly. And this is just it. Like, you don't need to be a P-rep. Like, CPS enables you. I think the biggest thing is like, CPS is more catered right now for startups. Like you can't
Totally.
come in and go, I've got a team of 100. I want this much funding to build. Yeah, no, that ain't gonna work. Sacrifices have
Yeah.
to be made. The goal is
Yep.
CPS will set you up, and your project will then bring in your revenue to keep building it out. So
Totally.
it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, really excited. Now,
And it creates
Max,
accountability with the community. Sorry. Go ahead.
bingo.
Yeah.
No, no, no. Exactly. So you mentioned one of the conversations, you said, okay, everything you're doing, you're going to use some platforms, social media platforms, and things like that. Can you expand a little bit what platforms you're aiming at, and what kind of content are you going to drive through those platforms?
Yeah. It's a great question. It's a delicate balance because Min referenced this a little bit ago about how, you know, the entire crypto ecosystem is just in a state of mania. It
Mm.
seems like we're living in bizarro world, right? Like it just when dog memes start to go be worth more than the GDPs of countries, like what is happening, right? But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think what is being you can say that's bad. You can say that it's ridiculous and the kids are don't understand. But I think instead we should tap into the tools and understand the reasoning, the mechanics for this. And I think platforms like TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Reddit and whatever are really important, powerful tools in our society and really important for marketing a project like Icon. So our goal is to use the shilling technology without shilling itself. So
Yeah.
that's our approach, right? Like we wanna get into TikTok influencers. We want to get the things trending, but we want to be able to do it in a way that spreads education, that spreads actual incentive based uh, content. And so yeah, I think we're going to work with the HX57 Bounty, which is the brainchild of Elise and Jen, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is excellent. I'm going to be writing some prompts for them, so there's a little alpha right there. I'm going to be writing some prompts for the next launch that will be specifically focused at platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. That will be
Awesome.
to focus on BTP. That will be to focus on price action, and to one other, and on the ICE blockchain. So we want to spread, this the fact that we're forking, or is it? I guess it wouldn't be a fork. It's an airdrop, or it's we're launching another blockchain. That's really exciting. That's the kind of stuff that can make waves throughout the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So let's do that. Let's make
Mhm.
some noise about it. It's like this is, and not only that, then it allows us to turn the conversation continually to BTP and all the other good stuff that Icon is. So you know. Um, I'm working right now. I'm in contact with some TikTok influencers, and I'm basically gonna say, hey, I'd like to partner with you guys in order to spread the fact that the Ice blockchain is going to launch and there's going to be an airdrop. That
Hmm.
should get some community excitement, and then I want to follow up with, hey, here's why we're doing a airdrop. Here's why we're launching a separate blockchain. One is to be compatible, right? To be able to build apps on that ecosystem. But it's also because Icon is completely dedicating itself to its interoperability and the VTP protocol. And that's a huge mission. And the reason why it's so exciting is because of all these things that I'm sure we can talk about. The fact that we're going to create a network of all these blockchains is just super exciting, and more people should know about it beyond just Icon followers.
Yep. No, agree. Exciting times. So now I heard you mention this, and I've seen this pop up in the Discord channel as well. A marketing DAO of some sort.
Mm, yeah,
Do you
that's
want to?
not that. I don't. That's not my idea, but I love the idea. So I think TJ came up with that. He mentioned on Discord. He said, "Would you be interested in creating a marketing DAO through CPS?" I think it's a brilliant idea. I'd love to be a part of it. What do you think about it? How do you? What's your thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. I actually did get a bit vocal. Um, Look, for me, yes, I want to just see people use funds at the start. Like, yeah, go create a DAO. It's a lot of work, and there's, a DAO. Like, I've attempted it. I think I've failed. Still trying to patch it up with Rhizome DAO. But there's a lot of work. People have to take leadership roles in there, and there's a lot of work to be done to coordinate. And I'm all for it. I just think I haven't seen any evidence at the moment, and I'm being very critical here. But I haven't seen any evidence so far of anyone actually utilize the CPS funding for any marketing initiatives properly, or actually utilize Balance DAO or Ohm DAO and kick off anything marketing related. So, and I'm
Yeah,
talking just a simple initiative rather than
yeah.
launching a DAO that is going to then market something. Like, I love the idea. I'm all for it. I'm very big on it. But until I see little things happen and community members take the lead and step up and successfully deliver it, then I'm all for, yes, let's transition. But it's crypto. Like, for me to kind of say that is contradiction. People should have the freedom to kind of do it. But I think it takes stepping stones to build to that. That's all. But I love the idea.
The process of CPS is kind of intimidating, to be honest with you. Like,
Hmm.
we tried. I don't know if I told you this, but we
No.
back, but like even before we launched the PREP, we tried to do a CPS proposal, but I first of all we got shot down because they said that we didn't have enough hard fact, hard information. And the thing about doing a marketing brand deal is uh, I can't talk about too much of it because the deal's still on the table and I already got in trouble once. Basically, what happened is I arranged a deal that
Yeah.
could potentially be very impactful, six figures, uh, tons of people, whatever. And then they CPS asked me, well, who's involved, what, how much
Hmm.
would cost, how would this all work? Like, give me a breakdown of everything, of all the parties, and I did that. And then the people that we wanted to work with saw it on the internet, and they got upset, as they should, because it was sensitive information. It was very embarrassing and a
Okay.
mistake on my part to share information that I shouldn't have.
Yep.
And I think that's the difficulty with a decentralized community like that, where you're raising funds, and transparency is so important. It's that you can't, some of these business area sectors don't work like that, and you can't keep it, you can't be fully
Yep.
open and share secrets and all that. So um and also, once I got some negative feedback on the CPS, I thought to myself, all right, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out like
Yep.
what's the best way to do this. So I totally agree. I think that starting simple, let's organize a hackathon,
Hmm.
or let's do one partnership with a content creator, and we need however much. That's the way to go, right? Because
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's like then you can scale up.
Yeah. And you raise interesting points because there are issues here, like, and I've seen it. So I think I'll throw the Iconists did one thing really well. Their proposal got they were asking a large sum of ICX, and one thing they did was then arrange separate presentations private to the P reps, and whoever
Mm,
could attend, they could come in and they could present and talk through, and the P reps could ask direct questions. And it's
mm,
interesting what you say, because I know there's a lot of sensitivity around marketing, because I remember when class, and we're having a bit of a free conversation here because I think you've touched on a real important thing. Icon Plus, when CPS kicked off, they were wanting to put through a proposal for marketing, a decent amount of money they were asking for, but Icon Plus had the influencers, Hashoshi, they had all these influencers, some of them that have been there were arranged traditionally by Icon Plus, so shout out there. But they when they put their proposal together, it was lacking a lot of information. I remember when I saw it and I was like, oh, but there's not a lot of detail here. And I actually got told we can't put a lot of information here because it's sensitive and they don't want to highlight who they've got, which. And I was naive at the time. I'd just come into Icon and just getting introduced into how things work in the space. But I thought, well, no one's going to agree. Why would anyone vote on this? Because,
yeah,
but as I've gotten involved, I've realized, this is the nature of things at times. So in that way, CPS can be restrictive. But I think, again, it's more about that's where the challenge is. Like, how do you get a new person if they have to present? They don't know who the P reps are. How do you go grouping
exactly.
it? So yes, there are challenges, and this is something TJ hopefully has been implementing. There's also a big disconnect from where you have to float the idea to how you
Yep,
go into CPS. You kind of need it to come together, and there should be maybe something in there that goes, there is confidentiality sensitivity to this, and we can arrange presentations, like 3 presentations can be held, as if like you're pitching to a board.
totally.
The board is decentralized in a way because that's what the PREPs are. But yeah, there's a lot there, and I come back to this. So what you just closed the point off, maybe before jumping into a full fledged deal,
Yeah,
initiative. It is kicking off
yeah,
something small, a couple of small things, and delivering on it. Where then you can kind of come with something bigger, and they've gone, okay, we've seen Max, he's already gone for 3 grants and delivered, and these are his outputs.
yeah.
So now he's come for the big cheese, and he's delivered. Let's support it and let's see how
Of
this
course.
goes. Um, yeah, look, I didn't know. I'm interested to find out which offline. I'll take this offline. I want to know what the proposal was. I've been quite across everything. Yeah, but no, great feedback, and I'm sure I'm going to force TJ to listen to this episode as well, so he can hear some of the challenges that were faced, and maybe even
Yeah.
some of the solutions we talked about.
I think one thing that they've already done really well with the Icon Discord is hiring those community managers. That makes such a big
Brilliant.
difference. It's
Yep.
it's it's such a good idea, and if we could just do that and make a tab for the CPS and hire, have one person whose job it is to go out and recruit people to do CPS proposals, and also just be there as someone who can give advice. What's the best way that we can how can we do all the things that you just talked about? Like how can we
Yep.
fine tune the pitch in order to make it received well by the community, but also do it the right way for how it needs to be executed. I think that would make a big difference. And I know TJ, I think he's done a great job so far. And I know he has his hands full, but maybe we should get him another person who can come in and kind of be his assistant and relay communicate with projects on the ground.
Yep. Look, agree, and this is ultimately, I always come back to this. Until Icon 2.0, which has happened, I feel Icon's just been stuck in a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah,
CPS, for example, great, but was it the vision the way they wanted it? No, because for CPS to work, they needed all the inflation, not just the Icon
yeah,
Foundation's rewards to go into it. And it needs to have consistency, building up. So you kind of had this thing where there was not as much going into CPS that should. It was being topped up probably every 1.5 months because it was a manual process. And then obviously the disconnect and everything we talked about. So this is why I'm glad you actually asked me about the network proposal and we touched on it. And it's so important because basically once this happened, really CPS should start filling in real time because block by block,
Mhm.
whatever inflation's happening, it's automatically getting routed and you're
Yep.
seeing the CPS number go up. And when number goes up and there's a decent fund, people will
People get
be a
excited.
little less,
Yep.
yes, and they'll want to pitch more ideas, but
Totally.
also some of the ideas uh, that currently are getting knocked down as too expensive, this or they actually have merit, but people are so concerned of the fund. I feel it'll flow a lot better. People will be a little more relaxed to go, yeah, let's approve the funding because the goal is right now to grow the network and we need to spend money to make money. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, no, quality stuff, man. And yes, TJ is the product manager for CPS. That was his role, but I guess it's evolved in the foundation as they've been growing. So one of the cool things we heard Mint say is they're looking to actively recruit more and more, which is great. So hopefully, TJ is very switched on and he can really zone in and start focusing on the product manager type roles
Most definitely.
that he's been pulled on to do. So
Yep.
yeah, very very excited about that. Um, I can ramble, man. It's you got to
No,
stop
not
me.
at all.
So, um,
It was good.
so okay, Max. So we've talked a fair bit today. There's a lot of cool initiatives. I really like what I'm hearing. Um, is there anything that you haven't covered, something you're excited about, or just something we've missed that you feel you want to get out there?
You know, I think the most I you kinda said it earlier is like, I wanna just prove myself, prove that I can start small, get the simple things done, start executing this plan that I've laid out, and then, I got a bunch of crazy ideas that I think could be really cool with the CPS and with everything, but for now, I'm excited to be a part of this community and contribute how I can, and hopefully we'll be able to kill it, you know?
Yeah. Perfect. No, well, that's a great summary. And Max, I mean, as you're pitching Icon and getting everyone involved, the next thing you do, as soon as they go, "Oh, what's Icon?" Well, hold up, listen to Iron Icon. They will educate you. Okay, don't forget.
Absolutely. Hey, absolutely. I'm gonna spread this to everyone I know. Everybody's got to check in with the best host in crypto, the best
Awesome.
podcast in crypto. No, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, Fez, and thank you. And I hope we can have one of these again.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Look, thank you so much, and I'm really excited to get you on to talk results, and really, even if we do snippets, I was thinking, as soon as you have the BTP session, maybe we'll grab you on to one of the news episodes, and you can give a bit of a live update after
Yeah,
post the event, going, this is what happened, this was successful, this was the reception. I think the community will really love that. Personally, I would love it, so yeah, they'll love it as well.
right on.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Sounds
Cool.
good.
Awesome. Thanks, Max, for joining us. And everyone listening, like, subscribe. This is one of those episodes, we keep saying when marketing. Here is Max Arcade Node. They've got a bit of a different plan of attack. And I actually, after hearing him today, love it. I love how he intertwined CPS and things like that. And you can see the potential now that once these foundational pieces have been set up, now how these new marketing strategies can take effect and actually retain talent in the Icon ecosystem thanks to CPS and things like that. So, Max, it's been a pleasure. Thank you again for coming on the show.
I appreciate you, Fez. Have a good one.
Take care.